So, as we attempted to up our production value with like a faster internet service, Starlink, which is the dish we're pointed at right now, as you can see, it's pointed right into a tree line here. The problem with getting Starlink here out in the woods is that despite it having like high upload and download speeds compared to our terrible DSL, it's just not stable. And we cut trees, remember? We did a video, a garden vlog, like cutting trees for Starlink. And we might have gotten 3 or 5% better, but there are certainly some trees that we could have cut over time ourselves, but there's a lot of really high, really large trees around here that we're not qualified to climb up there, 30, 40 foot in the air and cut. Like this big maple right there, and we can't just fall the tree, from the bottom, because there are things like houses that it would potentially fall on. And there's a red maple there. It's a little bit smaller, but again, it's big enough at the top. If we tried to fall it, just cut it down low, it would hit fences and or houses. And then the crepe myrtles here, we could have probably did it on our own. It probably would have did minimum or no damage to the roof or anything of our home, although it's time consuming to cut like 30 of those big crepe myrtle trunks. And then we have that big oak there, which isn't on our property. We'd have to cut it, somebody would have to have access up there, whether the neighbors gave someone access to cut those limbs off, or if they like took a rope there and like climbed up there with the rope and cut them. So, and then there's a few little trees and stuff there as well. And all of these things, even things that are from behind here, including these maples here and oak there and the river birches up there, all affect the skyline, the view of the sky in some way or another. If this were 100% for uploading on YouTube and that was our only options, that's probably about 4 or 5 times faster than our DSL as far as uploading is concerned. And when we have really good speeds in the morning, it can go to like 314 megabits per second speeds. Unfortunately, the stability is an issue, and even though it's not an issue for uploading, because it can be obstructed a little bit and still just pick up where it left off, after the obstruction is gone. Making phone calls, Wi-Fi phone calls, video conferencing, and real-time stuff where you're not getting like a large cache of data is an issue. Video conferencing, like Zoom meetings or whatever, just cut off a lot. And some of the Wi-Fi, home internet through the cell network providers are really expensive, and we do not get enough data. You get like 100 megabits or whatever for $100 or whatever, and we have already used about probably close to a terabyte between our DSL and this guy, and we still got about a week left on the service. So unfortunately, I think we're going to have to let the system go before that month ends. Otherwise, this like $700+ worth of equipment becomes $299 they'll give you back, I guess, after 30 days. And it's not worth it for us, because we have to also have our normal home internet stuff, and not just uploading on YouTube. The option to keep Starlink, option number 2 would have been to put a tower, 40 or 50 foot tower, right besides the home. But, we don't really have the funds for that. So having a professional cut the trees, we don't have the funds for that. It probably would cost about the same to just put a 40 or 50 foot tower up. And that's right now, that's not an option. If we go to a guide tower over 40 foot, you have to have guy lines. And the property line is so close to the other side of the building over there that we do not have a place to put guy lines. So it'd be a self-standing tower, more expensive, a ton more of concrete and all that good stuff. If you do a 40-foot tower and no higher, you don't have to guy it permanently, but you really need to put guy wires while you're working, while you're climbing on it. You know, you can put a, what do you call it, eave mount, 12 or 15 foot or however, and that kind of acts as your first guy line. So your concrete holds it steady as kind of like a guy anchor. Your eave or wall mount acts as like a guy anchor. And if you go above 40, it might work just fine with a 40-foot tower if we had one in place. So putting a tower or cutting the trees is pretty much out right now. And like I said, the property is right across the roof line there, the property line. So it's not a good option, and I'm not going to climb an unguided tower that requires guy lines, at least temporarily. In the future, there will be more Starlink satellites in the sky, maybe double. I don't know if it's 6,000 or 10,000 what they're aiming for, which would mean probably you get less obstructions, because every 15 seconds, the motors and stuff in that can aim to a different satellite and track it. My last few garden vlogs have been in 4K video because I've been able to upload it better here, but we're probably going to go back down to 1080p, and just for, being able to get things uploaded in a timely manner. And we're going to maybe see if we can get T-Mobile 5G, but when we put the address in see if it's available here, it says it's not. With that said, a lot of people are saying that if you go into the T-Mobile store, they will actually sell you the 5G kit, and sometimes that 5G kit works fine for people, despite it saying it's not available at our address. If they're not willing to sell us a kit, and give us that 14 or 15 day trial, then I guess we're just stuck with DSL until fiber comes back, or until we have more funds to put a tower up or cut the trees, or if they put more satellites in the sky and it's just going to be more stable. But it's just not stable here.